Common sense, joyfully dedicated to the blind dancing without a care behind the blind. Of course, it is plain to see for one and all what folly it is to waste precious imported oil in sport of terror. It is obvious indeed our kids need clean air and water, not just now, but for the future as well. Nobody will ever disagree our wondrous offspring deserve the finest in education. Everybody wants crimes against humanity brought to justice, but our own citizens will not be judged by some kangaroo world court. Who would really propose arguing against the basic sense of intact ecosystems? Everyone can easily see reckless government spending mortgages all of our futures. No one seriously denies today all men created anywhere must certainly be created equal. We are all at least subconsciously aware democratic majority rule applies at home, but not necessarily to our puppet allies overseas. It goes without any rational consideration necessary whatsoever. We must spend more and more on defense each and every year. Nobody would be so foolish as to campaign that overpopulation is an issue that should loom large upon our radar. It is a concept just as simple as pie. Backward people need only a little military nudge towards a corporate democracy. Even the very simplest among us see exporting jobs will make our lives better in the end. Try and find anyone to agree rash action on climate change is not an unproven and expensive liberal plot. Any decent and upright citizen knows our government servants need to talk privately to personal saviors for political guidance. Anyone with half a brain can tell a left-leaning conspiracy controls a corporate media. Nobody supports the nightmare of chemical weapons, yet we cannot sign a treaty restricting our rights to those we already have. Caring mothers everywhere agree infants should not suck diesel fumes in their bassinets. Loving fathers, uncles, aunts, and all want to protect their charges, yet coal-fired power plants still rain mercury into growing brains. It has been shown by the policies of trusted global financial institutions ever-growing universal debt is in the best of both personal and national interests. It is as plain as the nose upon your benighted face. We are God's chosen people, standing above for all to admire. Those with even the barest notion of reality see too much science and math education destroys a man's common sense. A large majority of strict constitutionalist opinion leaders realize loud mufflers on pickup trucks are an expression of personal freedom. It is a folksy homespun verity that the working man votes conservative and is thereby rewarded with benefit cuts before his job is offshored forever. Even simple fools know our sacred rights include scattering snack packaging in our noisy wake. The average outsourced NASCAR fan admires our leader's faith. His own sons are sent overseas and his real income falls, but the rich still cover their assets. Nobody cares for the sight of landmine victims, but a world treaty to control them undermines our precious national sovereignty. Ask any normal smoker about this fact. Their burning butts are okay to discard anywhere they choose. According to trusted politicians, exporting jobs and failing to educate does not diminish the bright future of our blessed land. It is widely recognized by marketing opinion leaders. Repetition can mold those truths which we should hold to be very self-evident. And any truly robust NFL fan of big men in tight spandex will gladly shout, all that green environmental bullshit just wastes a real man's time. Any child knows there is a great difference between a corporation and the genial politician it has contracted with for services. Most all honest working people understand jobs and people rank above this vegan nonsense about some kind of a sustainable society. Conventional wisdom spun by fast-talking experts has proven for sure a person or a country must stand either with us or be against us. Intellectual evangelicals accept as real truth this simple fact: man takes dominion over all of the beasts, since only he is possessed of a soul. Phony news and slick advertising admit of not a hint. Our lives are not sustainable for those few generations yet to come. It is seldom seriously questioned by conscientious conservatives. Environmental conservation is an optional and minor virtue of limited and dubious value. It is accepted without requiring any more serious thought. The fish from our lakes and rivers are not safe for us to eat. There is simply no discussion. It is the divine right of developers to mold our future in their greedy and leveraged images. It hardly bears mentioning the least of Hollywood epics is better entertainment than most any book. There is no argument about these facts. Animals have no souls, legal rights, or places in our Father's heaven. Everyone knows one needn't put aside a great deal in order to truly enjoy the happily ever after. It is widespread practice to finance the newest exciting mass whim instead of boringly saving for tomorrow. We obviously agree even with our most hated enemies. Faith in some one true God must be our guide in all political and military decisions. There is no debate over the propriety of this tacit axiom. Corporate fathers are the fingertips on the blind hand of the sacred free market. It is generally accepted and considered a non-starter. This fictional latest mass extinction cannot come at the hand of man. It is just common sense that rich investors from out of town can best exercise local control of zoning and development. Who would argue with the right of the party in power to redistrict the voters, thereby ensuring its own continued re-election? It simply makes sense that mafia gambling on Indian reservations will eventually be a long-term solution to their issues with substance abuse, unemployment, and poverty. An unquestioned business practice is to merge, downsize, reduce benefits and pension, export, outsource, collect huge bonuses, and then escape to hidden and locked compounds. No one will deny that our brave leaders must stay the course without cutting and running, and that their motives were pure and their evidence untainted. It is a pattern seen often in the history that we have so blithely ignored. The proudly ignorant and accidentally privileged head blindly towards a fall. Nobody argues the government's need to maintain its absolutely secret spying for our security, since our Constitution provides no right to individual privacy. Everybody accepts the fact that our boys' sacrifice must not be in vain, despite the illegal, immoral, deceitful invasion ordered by their leaders. It's just ordinary common sense. It would be a serious mistake to make too many changes, especially all at once.